Evening, everyone, and welcome to Crypto Pulse Weekly. Hope you've all had. I know it's been a quite volatile one for the job markets. Uh, Nevertheless, I think it's been a wonderful week. I think, generally speaking, we're still very much in line with the projections we did last week. So, without much ado, let's get started. Welcome once again to Crypto Pulse Weekly. For anyone joining on on YouTube Live, we're on every Friday, 7 p.m. GMT. For now, when we have daylight savings, it's most likely going to be 6 p.m. Um, British Standard Time, which will be 7 p.m. West African time. For now, we're sticking with 7 p.m. GMT, which is right now. So welcome once again. We're starting by taking a look at the market updates as usual. Look at what's happening in terms of the pulse check on the markets and about an analysis of the market price structure and price action. And then we'll take the crypto dip. Last week I said I was going to talk about DeFi. I didn't quite get to it, so I think this week could be a very good one. Excuse me. This would be a very good one to finish up on that. So in terms of what's been happening on the markets, you're probably aware that Bitcoin dropped about 10% this morning because of some curious or funny China crackdown on crypto. And I remember somebody sending me a message this morning and saying, "What do I think?" I'm like, "Hey, these happens all the time. Like, it's almost like it's like a broken record now. Each time the whales want to dump, they'll get somebody from China, usually some Twitter account called Wu Blockchain or something like that, and about 4 or 5 other of them. They just literally, circulate the news on Twitter, and before you know it, the news is going around. By the time you're seeing the news, the price is already dropped. So everybody literally just attributes um, everybody attributes the code. Everybody attributes the fall to the China crackdown, but really there's nothing like China crackdown. I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you now, just to explain the thesis of what I'm telling you about. Um, the fake news. I don't want to call it fake news, but it's almost like it's usually an excuse for whales to dump on the market and blame it on something. Yeah, I think people are getting smarter, generally speaking, because even though the reaction has been sharp, I think the rebound too has been quite healthy. So it tells me that fair correction. I mean, we've been sitting at 45K. We didn't break 45K and expected that we wouldn't break 45K straight up, given the level of drop we had from 52. But we need to understand that the market needs to take one step backward for every 2 steps that it takes forward. So in a way, it might not look too good on it might not look too good on our portfolio, but it's a very healthy move for the market. And that's why I said I believe this is probably the dip that takes us to 60K or close to 60K, if not there already, I mean, by the beginning of the upper week. So in terms of that, there's a lot of fears around. There's a lot of analysts on Twitter and on and on YouTube saying, the bear market is upon us. But it's obvious if you're following me on the WhatsApp group, and especially if you're part of the Bull Run Profits group, you will understand that there's a pattern at play here, and that pattern has not failed. In fairness, that pattern has been intact since almost week for week with previous bull runs. So what we're seeing now is almost like a replay of some part of 2013 and some part of 2017 bull run. And if we're to go by that, it means we're either already at the bottom we're very, very close to the bottom for a very long time to come. As a result of that, I've given a number of calls on people, buying Bitcoin, like the one I gave this morning to say, if you wanted to buy, 40K was a good entry. If you got in at 40K 700, which was the exact bottom, by the time it goes back to 45K, you've made 20% or thereabouts. Yeah. So, or 10%. So it's important to know that it's an opportunity, and cashing on the opportunity. Of course, it's weekend. The market is going to pump. There are no institutional market makers playing during the weekend. So the market is going to pump because it's sitting in the end of wheels. Then when we get to Monday, we'll dump again, probably till the end of the week. Definitely there's going to be a dump next week. A sharp one as well. But it makes sense because that's expected to be the last one. We might not get as low as 40 as we did today. We might be dumping from maybe like 52 or 50 to 45. But that will mark the end of bearish September, which is expected or was expected at the beginning of the month. So that's the play, and I think Bitcoin is following the script so far, almost to the letter. In another news, I told you about El Salvador. El Salvador is our live experiment on Bitcoin macroeconomics. Because I'm an avid curious element when it comes to digital currency macroeconomics. I'm really interested in Bitcoin and how it's going to affect this economy. I think it goes without saying that they're going to be better for it, because if you've been on these calls and you don't understand why we need to invest on Bitcoin, I'm going to say it again just for the benefit of anybody that might be new. The current fiat system is like shitcoins. So for anybody that doesn't know shitcoins are coins or digital tokens that are supposedly not used for anything. So the currently fiat system is like shitcoins that have infinite supply, so you can print as much as you want. It's almost like Dogecoin, but it's worse than Dogecoin, because Dogecoin, even though it doesn't have a cap, at least you know the rate at which it's printing. But fiat currencies across the globe, especially when it comes to things like dollars and euros, they're subject to the whims and caprices of central banks. They can print on demand. And because printing on demand provides a sort of temporary stopgap for any problem in the world, central bankers and politicians have now become junkies, I may say, to the idea of money printing to solve any short-term problem. During the 2008 economic crisis, a lot of money was printed in the name of quote unquote quantitative easing. It stemmed the tide. Within 3 quarters, everything seems to have reset. But what then happened is the bankers that were being bailed out kept the money to themselves and became richer at the end of the day. Same thing with COVID. More than half of the money has gone to the top 10%, because their friends are the central bankers. They're going to put more money. Those ones are going to take those monies and going to put them in bonds, put them in real estate. They're going to increase their net value. The poor people are going to take the money they have, subsist and just exist and survive. And the financially illiterate ones who try to save. But what you don't understand is, for every dollar or every pound or every euro that you save in the bank, each time the government prints money, they've stolen future and present value of that money. So it's almost like you harnessed your sweat and the government is devaluing your sweat. I mean, it's happening all over the world. Nigeria is a very good example. And I mean, for obvious reasons. If you had 100,000 naira, let's put it this way. If you have $1,000 in naira at the beginning of the year, that was probably like 300,000 naira, thereabouts. If you left that 300,000 naira in the bank, it's probably going to get you about $500 now. That's how badly that economy has devalued its currency in just 1 year. It's not even up to 1 year. So what's happening with Nigeria is just happening in fast forward motion for Nigeria than many other countries. But it's happening even in the United States. It's happening as well. The The government is printing money, and because the government is printing money, it is weakening the purchasing power of the people. Because what it then means is that what people have bought for, $10 or $100 or 100,000, it will now take you 200,000 or 150,000 to buy it. So the reason you invest in crypto, especially things like Bitcoin, is to ensure that you have a hedge against inflation, which is what all this money printing causes. It causes you inflation, and it basically devalues your currency and devalues your worth. So if you are worth at the beginning of this year, if you are worth, let's say you are worth $100,000 in naira, what it means is that right now you are probably worth about 50,000 or $55,000 just in 1 year. So keeping your money in the bank, even though saving was originally the best thing you could do in terms of accumulation of wealth, but central bankers and politicians have made sure that that's no longer viable. I just sorry about that. I needed to deviate from what we are saying to explain to people why people need to be in crypto and why people shouldn't be keeping their money in bank accounts, because essentially you are subjecting yourself to double rapes by the government. So apologies for using that analogy, but that's the best analogy I can give for what the government is doing, the central bankers are doing with people's wealth. And until people like Nigeria get out of their slumber, or African countries generally get out of their slumber and you know try to hedge with things like Bitcoin, nothing is going to happen. The people are going to be really poor, because whatever you are saving up, whether it's your sovereign wealth or national treasury, as long as the US is increasing circulating supply of their dollars, your value is being watered down. Essentially. Moving on from that, we had some hearings this I think it was this week about SEC giving a testimony before the US Senate. And no, not US Senate, I think it was an interview, and the guy was blasting stable coins and blasting altcoins and all that. Expect that there will be some fight back, especially because not all institutions have a seat at the table when it comes to Bitcoin. Many people are still far behind. If you have Bitcoin right now, you are still in the top 5% of the world investing in crypto. So you are still very early. So because of that, many governments will still attempt to fight it. The ones that understand its positions, the ones that don't understand it will attempt to fight. So I wasn't surprised at all that the guy was going up around. That's like I told somebody in one of the forums that I belong to. It's too late now for anyone to stop Bitcoin. Even China has lost its power. The moment they cracked down on miners and miners started moving out of China, it became obvious that they had lost their hold on the market. Before now, if you hear of China Forge, that Ford is going to be on the market for like one week or more before anybody can recover. Well, now, there's China Ford, and the market it has already recovered from the dip. It's already waiting for the weekend to pump like crazy. So yeah, um, it's expected that SEC, and because the guy is a Bitcoin guy, so I understand that guy is favorable only to Bitcoin and thinks all altcoins should be securities and should be under the jurisdiction of U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission. For the guys in the U.S., uh, it's a disadvantage to them, because what it means is that they can't um, they can't partake in some very juicy freebies vis-a-vis things like Uniswap and the YDX airdrops, because those ones are not going to they're not going to give such things to people within the United States just because of the restrictions with SEC and all that. So, like I told guys on you need to, or you want to participate in that thing, then you need to trade behind the walls. I'm not going to say about I'm not going to say about that. Um, Yeah, very nice, interesting perspective from Dr. Larry. He just sent me a message saying that at the beginning of this month, he converted his savings to USDT at 528 naira to a dollar. Now, as of today, USDT is 582 to a dollar. So he's made more than 10% in a month without trading, just putting it to stable coins. Now, if you use that to buy, I mean, if you use that to trade, just buy the dip, sell the top, or sell the recovery. For the next few, let's say it's 1,000 USDT, for instance. If you buy Bitcoin tonight, sell on Monday, you make 10%. Yeah, and sell on Sunday night. At the minimum, you make 10%. It might be more than that. If you buy again on Thursday when it dumps next week, sell again at 10% profit, you make another 20%. If you wait for another Thursday drop or Tuesday drop and buy again, by the end of the month, you actually will have doubled the value of that USDT. By which time, dollar might be selling at, who knows, 650 to a dollar. Naira might be selling at 650 to a dollar. So for guys in Nigeria, I'm not a financial advisor. It's just in your best interest. You need to convert your cash to USDT or any other stablecoins for that matter. I mean, it's useless if you put it in domiciliary account, because the positioning of the government in Nigeria, they might come for your money. And I understand that there are actually laws in place in Nigeria that gives them the authority to come for your domiciliary account balance and convert it to Naira by force. So I'm going to leave it there. I'm not going to say more than that. A word is enough for the wise, as they say. In terms of an assessment of where we are in this recovery and whether we're done with the book of Quran or not, as I said, there's a script in play, and that script is very intact. Like, it is playing to the letter. And when I mean to the letter, it is playing, it's almost like it's by design. So, and if it's by design, the crash today is a short-term correction. And I've been saying exchange outflows have been dropping. Those have been strewn every single week. When you see the price drop, nobody is selling Bitcoin. I repeat, nobody is selling Bitcoin in the spot market. When you see the price drop, what is happening is sales are deleveraging. We call them degenerate traders. They are degenerate. They are deleveraging retail traders who are on high leverage, trying to buy the dip and long the price of Bitcoin. I'll give you an example. So if you are doing a coin margin futures, for instance, on Binance, you could use 0.1, 0.01, 0.01 about $400. I'm right, yes. So you could use $400 to buy one Bitcoin, essentially, in futures, because you could do a 1 to 100, or you could do a 1 to 50. So, but the bad part of that is, if you do that, then you have to be 100% sure that the market is going in your favor. Because if the market doesn't go in your favor, then it means that you will lose the money you put down as your stake. So if you wanted to buy 0.1 Bitcoin, for instance, and you wanted to use 0.01, that is 1 to 100. If the market moves, in fact, if the market moves 0.11%, that is 100% for your balance. So if your balance is, let's say, 4,000 and you staked 400 at that margin, if the market moves 1% against you, then all your balance is gone. That's how futures work. I don't want to confuse people and explain more than that. But people put down a little amount of money to enter big positions in futures or leverage markets. But what the whales are doing is the whales are wiping them out by all these shots. When they shot like this, they wipe out leverage, because what it means is that the market will go beyond their, what you call, liquidity price, which price they must be. They are forced to sell back into the market. So when they dump the price like this and short the price of Bitcoin, all the people that are long, that are retailers and don't have big pockets, they get wiped out. And because they get wiped out, they automatically trigger market sell orders, which further pushes the price down until there is a buyer or there is a buying pool or there is a buying level where you have a lot of people that want to buy at that price. That's when the dip stops. So what's happening is every time the whales see that, okay, they have a cluster of, people who have long the price of Bitcoin, they just short it suddenly, so that with the shorts of the retailers and then buy off their Bitcoin lower price. So that's exactly what's happening. Nobody's selling Bitcoin now because changes are running low very soon. In fact, I saw a news today where some people are advising that exchanges should change from Bitcoin to Satoshis because Bitcoin was getting too expensive. So that instead of using one Bitcoin, they should use Sats or Satoshis are the small unit of measures of Bitcoin. And if you remember, I mentioned in the month of July, before the price turned, I remember very well, I mentioned the month of July, that Binance was changing calibration. I don't know if anybody remember that particular event. I think I mentioned on WhatsApp. Binance was changing calibration and they sent an email. I think they sent an email or a notification out about it. That the only reason you want to change calibration or trading pairs for Bitcoin was because you expect the price is about to add some digits. Yes, thank you, Dr. Larry. I know I said it then. That the only reason you want to calibrate and add additional digits level, 2 digits level or something like that, because you expect that price of Bitcoin is going to add at least 1 digit. So I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at all that what we're having is happening now, because as you can see from what I have on the screen now, we're going up from where we are. Definitely. It might not be next week, might be upper week, but definitely we're going up. And this is just this is a recap of China banning Bitcoin news. And I mean, I like the way this has captured it. The various dates since 2013 that this has been used as a strategy to pump the market on people, and what the reaction has been. So see, 2017 again, 15th of September, 11th of September. There will be some crazy news coming out of China. They are doing something against Bitcoin. So I'm not surprised. So if you look at this time point, this is 15th of September 2017 when this news came out, and this was what the price dumped to around 2005 or thereabout from where was it? From 4,009 back in 2017. Yeah, the price dropped to 2,000. Okay, must have been 3,005 from 4,900 back in the days. After that dump, which is here, price went up, took a smaller correction, and then went all the way to all-time high. So here we are again, 24th of September 2021. You have the same storyline. If you measure this line for line, I'm sure this takes us way beyond 100K. I've not measured it, but I'm sure if you measure this line for line in terms of market reaction, definitely, I expect that we will get, at the minimum, from where we are now, we will get 100% at the minimum, which is 80 at the minimum. In fact, that's being very, very conservative. Get anywhere between 100 from where we are now, going up. So yeah, this is, as I said, it's a known playbook of the whales and the market makers, and it's obvious now that that's what has happened. So for the people who are worried about China, China is not the problem. As a matter of fact, as I will show you, there has been so much good news this week that on a normal day, this news will have sent the price of Bitcoin into the stratosphere. Any of them, actually, any of them will have sent the price of Bitcoin into the literally, because this week, the promise that PayPal made that they were going to go live on, they fulfilled that promise for UK customer. I have a PayPal account, and I checked my PayPal account today, and lo and behold, there's an additional tab called crypto, in which they were willing to sell me Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the likes. I just laughed out. Really, it's come to life. So, I mean, I remember last year it was around September, October last year when PayPal first said that they were considering offering cryptocurrency services. And then in October, all of a sudden they came back and said, as a matter of fact, we're not waiting till next year again, we're starting immediately. And it started then in October. So yeah, it's been their most profitable move in the last 3 years. So think about that. Uh, so this on its own will have pumped the market like crazy. But it is what it is. Market is playing by the rules of the market maker. Again, Twitter announces they're integrating Bitcoin tipping functionality into Twitter. I mean, Twitter has millions of users all over the world. This functionality automatically makes it for commerce to happen to users. So Twitter immediately becomes just because of that integration. By the way, the plan to use what you call Lightning Network. Lightning Network is like a layer 2 solution Bitcoin that allows you to basically do an item line level transaction and then use Bitcoin as a settlement layer. What I can say to break that down to layman's term is that if your bank and my bank transfer money to each other, usually they will have the central bank, the International Bank of Settlements, or the National Bank of Settlements, or National Settlement Body, serve as arbitrator between them, and whatever the balance is at the end of the month, they will cash themselves the balance. And that's because for them to transact fast each other, they need to open ledgers for themselves. Accountants will understand what I'm saying. So if I'm GTB and I want to transfer with First Bank, I open a First Bank ledger. Every bank customer that sends money to GTB account, I show it on my credit side with the details of the account number. Anybody from my own side, I send money to, I show it on the credit side, the details of their own transaction. And then at the end of the day or at the end of the week or whatever the reconciliation is, we do the settlement. If my net balance is I'm supposed to pay you, then I'll, give you a note, write you a credit note and pay you. Or we'll just do a carryover and say, at the end of this month, this is the position. You owe me $50,000 because more people have sent money from First Bank to PCB. Next bank comes, they do the settlement again. And they can say, they'll settle once every month if there is any outstanding balance. So what the Lightning Network does is similar to that. So instead of trying to load all transactions happen on the Lightning Network and settlement take place on the Bitcoin network. Fantastic solution. It's what is in use in El Salvador for their Chivo app. It's running on the Lightning Network, which means you're paying next to nothing for transferring value. You're using the Bitcoin network as your settlement layer. So this is going to push a lot of crypto adoption. But again, the price is doing its September dance of shame. So it's not reacting to news like this. In another news, we have Mercedes Petronas AMG team. These guys are the guys that are behind, what's his name? Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri Bottas. Of course, they're the championship team that they want to beat, really. So they got a partnership with FTX. And on the back of that, I think Crypto.com also went to partner with them. So basically what it means is that when they come out now, you will see FTX somewhere and you see Crypto.com somewhere. Again, bringing crypto into the phases of the people, the F1 crowd. They're an F1 fan. I only watch F1 because of this. But I think it's a good thing. I think that they're trying to get into a market niche that probably would either to not have been captured. So it's a good thing. Vanek is an European investment house, and they've been launching ETFs for the past almost a year now. This month, I think it's this month, early next month, they're going live on Tron ETF. So I expect some price action. And actually, I think this guy, Justin Sun, he mentioned it in passing on Twitter. But I just think he was trolling. I didn't take him serious. But apparently, this is what was happening. They're going to have an ETF of Tron on Tron. So Tron is going to pump again. Tron is one of those crazy you don't want to call them Ethereum alternatives, but it's one of those coins that in the last bull run was really, really very crazy. And because I think those guys have a lot of Chinese mafia pump machines behind them. So many a times when you see projects on Tron, they have tendency for some phenomenal insane profits. Like that don't even make sense. That's what I can say because yeah, Tron is good. Yeah. And that's why the price is very, very Tron is 100 billion. 100 million, 100 million. No, it's 100 billion. Yeah. Total supply is 100 billion. Circulating supply is 71 billion. So because of that, the price of Tron usually is always ranging between, let me look for it and show you what I'm saying. So historically, the price of Tron has gone as the highest is gone, I think that's 21 cents. Right now it's 9 cents. Yeah, all right. Yeah, 9 cents now. It's been throughout last year and all the most of the bull it's been around 2 cents, 1 cent, here and there, here and there. This year it pumped 16 cents. So I suspect that on the back of this news, the next pump we're going to get take us to maybe like 50 cents. So it's not Tron itself that I'm interested in usually, but coins that are being powered by Tron. They have tendency to because I think their pump infrastructure is very strong. But we'll see. Another news that should have pumped the market that probably people didn't know about was the fact that Dubai World Trade Center organization just approved start trading of officially Dubai World Trade Center free trade zone. Again, this kind of news will have sent the markets into frenzy. But it's so much good news that the market is not reacting, which means when the market start reacting, very hyperbolic reaction to say the least. So lastly, I'll talk about Ripple's partnership with Bhutan. Bhutan is a lovely island. I don't even know where they are, to be honest. I think it's in Asia. Give me a second, please. I said I was going to check. First time I saw Bhutan was in some Olympic. Yeah, it's in Asia, Southeast Asia. Yeah, the first time I saw them was in Olympic, and I was wondering what's uh, what's this country about. So apparently, it's one of those small countries in Asia that stuck in the middle of China, Nepal, and China, Nepal, and Bangladesh. Yeah, they're stuck in somewhere in between China, Nepal, and Bangladesh, and very small country. But they usually have a lot of tourist. I don't know why though. They have a lot of tourist attraction and all that. So they're partnering with Ripple, launch a CBDC. As you're probably aware, I think I talked about CBDC first in July or August last year. And that was when the Bank of Japan, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Canada, and I think the Central Bank of Spain were partnering to launch a CBDC pilot starting at the beginning of 2021. So that pilot is on now. I think we will find out what the outcome is probably by early next year. I understand that the SEC as well is supposed to publish their own findings on their CBDC pilots by the end of the year or next month. But what's going to happen is many of the countries will convert largely to CBDCs. I think they will try to model it in such a way that the blockchain level before settlement, then you have some sort of layer 2 network like Lightning or Polygon to Ethereum, where the actual transactions take. But like our friends in Nigeria try to be smarter than themselves. They're going ahead to launch CB, some crazy BDC that we don't know what the origin is. And I understand that they're going to be forcing business in Nigeria take the e-naira. Well, my opinion has not changed. The real naira is not getting off. So making it electronic is not going to change. It's not going to change the underlying problem. Anyways, um, in terms of coin spotlights for this week, um, my coin spotlight is on Audios. Two reasons. One, because I just knew about it maybe like a few months ago, and I never really took it serious until a few days ago that it came up in my radar again, and I was thinking, okay, what is exactly Audios about? That was when I found out that it's actually, yeah, it seemed like a noble idea. Audios is a streaming platform for um, creators, so it's like a blockchain platform where creators and customers can meet without middlemen. The good thing about this is if they do um, take off from the ground and they get a lot of users to participate and adopt Audios as the de facto token or transfer of value, this coin is going to become very expensive. It's already expensive. I mean, it's a 1 billion total supply, and they already had almost, I mean, more than a quarter of a billion market cap. So it's already heavy. But I think if it becomes more successful, becomes more successful, and more people are launching music. So what's happening is you can use once you sign up with this platform, you can create music and sell it on their platform. People can pay you in audio to listen to your music. So if the adoption increases, I think the value of the coin is going to significantly increase. So it's one of those coins I'll be looking out for in the during the bear markets to accumulate and probably stack up for the future. And we'll see how it goes. In terms of what's happening, talked too much already today. I feel like I've been talking for forever. In terms of what's happening on the vital side, we're a bit down. We're not a bit. We're very down. We're 300 billion down from of last week when we were at 3,000. And of course, altcoins have taken their own share of the blame as well. However, Bitcoin dominance have picked up. It's now 42%. I'll show you that shortly. We're still in the buy zone in terms of fear and greed index. As I said, you can never go wrong with buying on this. Never, ever, ever go wrong. Because at the point of fear, you are bound to make profit. There's no way you'll make it. It might look how do I put it? It might look fearful initially, but it might look comfortable when you take the position. But if you buy at the peak of people's fear, you're going to eventually be paid handsomely for making the bold decision when other people are afraid. So basically, what I'm saying is you counter trade your emotions and the sentiment in the markets, especially when there is nothing to support that sentiment. You are most likely going to be paid handsomely for it. So right now, we're still in the buy zone and you compare in there. In terms of where we are, I think we're here in belief. At the beginning of belief, people are still believing that yeah, we think that's higher. Even though some people believe that no, they are not going any higher, and they say, you look at the charts and they start plotting off patterns. But I'll show you the charts right now so that people don't they don't come up with all sorts of stories. So let's start from the weekly charts of Bitcoin. So this is the weekly chart of Bitcoin. I've marked it up a bit. If we go by Fibonacci ratios, which are mathematical ratios, this chart tells us that next major stop, 97,000. So what this tells me is that we're definitely going to get to 97,000, whichever way. Either in the next 1 month or in the next 1.5 months, guaranteed we're going to hit that level. And the reason we're going to hit that level is because we've already taken a major correction of this. If you look at this impulse on the week, went as fast, went as far as 61,000. But let's plot it on 60. Let's plot it on 4. Plot it on 64. It means we've had about 50% retracements on Fibonacci levels. If you have 50% retracement on Fibonacci level, yeah, this is probably more. That takes us to 1,800 as price projection on the weekly chart. So it might take us a number of weeks to get there, but in the near future, I expect that price should be sitting somewhere around here. Because if the price gets there, a lot of people will sell up and say, well, at the end of the bull run, let me take my money and run. You can take your money and run at this point. Not a financial advice. But I think the markets probably still do some more wonders after that, after some sharp correction, sell off. And then the market takes off and people are wondering, oh, why did I sell? But yeah, if Bitcoin break money out, please take it. Yeah. But thinking technically, this is a major impulse wave that took us from last year, March, to April this year. Now we've taken a downward correction that's taking us to 27. And that correction is where we're taking this impulse. Now we've taken a smaller impulse, the one that, we've come down from 52,000. It goes back to like 5 before, having a major one. But because we are close to the end of the bull run itself, I think we'll be seeing those very long and daily candles as well. On daily, very interesting play on the daily, I must say. The colors you are seeing are just areas of supply and demand. We're mostly buying. The markets have been playing around this demand and supply areas in very funny manner. If I open up the hourly, you see what I'm saying. On the hourly, this the hourly area of supply and demand 1,000 and 45,000, and you can see that just got rejected of that. We bounced off lower supply and demand areas, 37,000 actually, and gone up. We've dropped down. Even when we dropped down today, once we got into that zone, price took off again because they love buyers and sellers at those levels, and we're beginning to form a new one here as well. I never used to use supply and demand, but I found out that that made my analysis more accurate in determining entry and exit. So it's something to take. So on the short term, which is in the next few hours, I think like 7 o'clock, we're about 3 p.m. US time. In another 2 hours, I think price action will get and we start to see some points going back to 5K. I think we're going to break 45 by tomorrow, probably at 10. So if we stay this way, let's say we close at 42K. When the market starts moving over the weekend, might move from 40K, let's say 49. But what will then happen is on Monday morning, because we'll have created a 20% CME gap, if he ever gets there, then we're going to have a crash again. And that's why I told the guys on the Bull Run Profits group to take some advantage of buying now and selling off on the 19th. You'll definitely bank some profits. It's inevitable because the market is going to pump. The market was already going to pump, but the market likes to pump on weekends because then they don't have institutional traders who have infinite amount of money. So they're able to because are able to pump at their discretion as well. So that's why I expect for market cap. Yeah, I was looking at this is all coins market cap. It dropped from 1.3 last week, or the peak before the last 1.4 1.4 of the peak week before the last was very close to the all-time high of 1.4, 1.5, let's say 1.5 in April, May. Based on technicals, what this says is that in the near term, we are going to see between 2.1 and 2.4 trillion market cap for altcoins. What that means is at the minimum, altcoins will double. Let me show you my thoughts. The cost one. Yeah, one. So yeah, this is the one for overall market cap, and the same thing I was saying, that we were close to the peak when we dropped off in terms of market cap. We're already close to May's peak of 0.6 million, 0.6 when we dropped off 3 weeks ago. So what's going to happen is we're going to go back there, and of course we're going to surpass it, and then we're going to probably sit around 4.1 to 4.2 trillion. 4.1 to 4.2 trillion crypto market cap means that Bitcoin will at least, at the minimum, double its price or triple its price at some point. Then when it dovetails into altcoins price will go crazy because the Bitcoin dominance will crash suddenly, and all of a sudden, price of altcoins will go crazy. Finally, in terms of Bitcoin dominance, which is Bitcoin dominance did a pump initially. Now it's been going on that was down spiral. There was a time it pumped back to 40,000. But it couldn't break that support, so it's gone back now. I think this is going to change once we come back. So we've done. It's almost like we've done a double bounce now. I have I marked here. I remember I marked the divergence. Divergence is when price action and an indicator are going in opposite trends. So this seems to be going down, whilst this seems to be going up. So it's an eminent sign of a reversal, technically. So I expect that market dominance will change once the price of Bitcoin starts moving, especially in the month of I think will be back to back positive movements in the price of Bitcoin once the month of September is concluded. In terms of knowledge sharing today, I wanted to talk about just a snippet on DeFi. So last week I wanted to talk about DeFi, but I didn't have enough time. DeFi 1 and 2 is one of the courses we offer on our tutorials. If you're interested, you can get in touch with me. But just to talk about what DeFi is at a very high level, it's like giving access to finance to everybody, regardless of where they are, once they have internet. That's the simplest explanation I can give. What this does is like what the GSM phone has done for the world of communication. Let that sink in for a while and understand that once this is fully in place, we will no longer see finance and financing through the same lens, to be completely different. In fact, many of the companies around today will no longer be of use because they would have been totally made redundant. Where is the marketplace for DeFi? It's globally accessible. Once you have the internet and you download the wallet, basically you can participate with DeFi. And in fact, some DeFi platforms are already integrated or integrating with payment platforms. So I know, for instance, that platforms like Trust Wallet, and I think, can't remember now, even MetaMask and my Ethereum wallets already have ways by which you can pay to buy crypto directly into your wallet. So what that means is all the big exchanges you know today, you will not see them again in the future unless they convert themselves to DEXs. DEXs mean decentralized exchanges. Don't see them in the future just because decentralized finance, I don't want to say it's the new thing, but to say evolving technology apart from what crypto is going to do to the world of finance, decentralized finance is finally going to take away the jobs of the bankers. I didn't say it, but it is what it is. The architecture is similar in design to decentralized application, and as a matter of fact, covers every part of finance that you can. To give you an example, how wide life finance already is on the term block, I have the slide. So if you think about the various components of DeFi and what you can do with finance today, this is what DeFi can already do. So I do investing, do credit and lending, and do insurance, and do payments, and do derivatives, do prediction marketing. You have infrastructure. So you have considerable, so you already have a lot of sectors and subsectors within this DeFi ecosystem. So it's only a matter of time as more people begin to realize that instead of going to a physical third party, you can actually commit some of these things to smart contracts. And the longer and the smart contracts become, the more confidence people have in them. And a matter of time before so I just thought that, platform is a lot beyond buying coins into interactive and MetaMask. Those are just custodial services, things like MetaMask, MyDAO Wallet, Trust Wallet, PayPal, are just custodial services on the blockchain. So that brings me to the end of today's digest. If you have a question on Instagram, you can type in your question. I'll answer your question. If you have a question on Zoom, please unmute your mic and I'll have a go at you. Thank you.
Good evening, Doctor.
Good evening, Albert. Go ahead.
Okay. As we know that the bull run will eventually come to an end and we'll be entering into a bear market. Now we have some coins that we have put them on stick. And sometimes if you want to unstick them, it takes about 30 days for your assets to be released onto you. So is it okay for us to start unstaking them now?
Do you attend the class on Bull Run Profits?
Come again.
Did you attend the class on Bull Run Profits?
Oh, no.
So you need to attend that class to answer that question. Because I explicitly laid out the roadmap to exiting the book.
Class. Oh, okay. 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 Okay, thank you.
Any other question, please, before we call it today? If no other question, please have a lovely weekend. See you again next week. Our next round of CryptoPause Weekly. I should have some insights into the forecast for the month of October by next week, because by next week we'll have completed the month of September, and Friday will actually be the first day. So a number of things will have happened. We have seen the weekly candle for this week. We have seen the monthly candle for the month of September, and then you have a good idea of what the price projections should look like. So have a lovely week.
Oh, Doc, sorry, that's one more thing. I want to find out why this time we've been hearing of hacking of DEX like that.
Yeah, DEXs are not 100% decentralized. DEXs are hybrid centralized platforms in the real sense of it. So in my DeFi 101 and DeFi, I think it was 101 class, I explained the architecture and how many of the current decentralized finance and the way most of them currently work is that the actual transactions take place on the blockchain, but the the data that's being fetched, well, no, let me not put it that way. Half of the data that's being fetched is fetched from the blockchain, and you do have some blockchain settlements and transactions that happen. But you have some, I'll call them master data. You have some master data that are being fetched from centralized instances. So let's take Uniswap, for instance, which is the most common one. When you launch Uniswap, you see the data on Uniswap page is sitting on Uniswap server. The data that you get when you put in a contract address that is not already on the register with Uniswap, that data is usually fetched from CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, most of the time from CoinGecko. So the only data that Uniswap gets from the blockchain is the data that is sitting in its own wallet, smart contract wallet, that's using for liquidity, and the one that is getting from your wallet. So at the runtime, what it's doing is ask for your permission to take the money from your wallet, and then uses that permission to invoke the smart contract, make the exchange. The reason they're getting hacked is that because those wallets are known wallets, because they take out of X transactions. And if you read the scans, if you read the blockchain explorers for either BSC or Ethereum scan, you can easily see that these wallets are taking care or taking part in DeFi transactions, especially when you see that they're being referenced by Uniswap. So you know that okay, this is probably a liquidity proof, or it's a smart contract wallet. So what then happens is wallet addresses are known. It makes it easy to target whoever is holding keys to that wallet. And there are various ways. You can use phishing attack on the person holding the wallet, in which to send them an email or try to introduce malware into any of their devices or accounts as a means to obtaining the details of getting to that wallet. That's really how most people have been hacked. I remember I think it was a telecoms, it wasn't telecoms, it was some big guy in crypto back in 2013 or 2017. His account was hacked, and the way his account was hacked, he had the crypto on his ledger. But they knew that to get the details of that ledger, they could get it on his phone. So they hacked his phone, did a stream swap on his phone. Then from his phone, they went to his iCloud and they got the details, because what happened was they had taken the picture of his what's it called, recovery phrase for the ledger. So they took the picture of the recovery phrase, used that to recover his ledger address, and they moved the money. Complex process, but because it was a prominent person and he had a lot of money, they were able to painstakingly get that I'll call it haste, because it's a good. I think he even sued the telecoms company on the back of that, because it was like, how would you swap my SIM without my say so? So you have, I think it was on the back of that people like O2 or providers in the UK will say that you need to provide a passphrase for anybody to touch your account. So if you have an account, contract account, for instance, for you to be able to do SIM swap, you need to provide also. You can't provide those details. You need to give them. So if you can't provide the passphrase, you can also the details. If once they do SIM swap for you, you can literally recover things like iCloud and all the person's phone. So yeah, smart contracts key, the smart contract wallets, the keys are being held by human beings. So as long as those keys are being held by human beings, they can be breached. That's why many of the dexes are and the what's it called are getting hacked. Long story, but that's the simple explanation.
Oh, okay, I get it. Thank you.
All right, guys. Have a lovely week.